My favorite color is an aqua blue. So pretty much any variation of it. I like anything that reminds me of the crystal blue waters in the Caribbean. So my favorite animal is a peacock, and the reason being is I think that they are absolutely gorgeous. And I'm talking about the male peacocks. I guess a peacock is a guy, right? Yeah, the colors are beautiful. They're very elegant. They're very regal. Just something about them when you see them, they're very classy. The way they look is pretty hypnotizing and memorizing. You can do a ton of stuff with the feathers, hopefully after they died, a humane death. And also, I got to see a white peacock recently, which was really rad, but I still prefer the colored ones. So my favorite TV show is actually Dr. Oz, and I'm kind of weird, I know. I'm kind of a nerd in that sense. A lot of my friends are super into the Real Housewives shows, and those are like super fun and interesting whenever I see them, but I just, I can't keep track of them, much like a lot of my favorite TV shows along the years that have passed. America's Next Top Model used to be another one of my favorites, but I do really like Devious Mates. That's something that I look forward to watching every Monday night. So my favorite game on my phone, it's Candy Crush. I've been playing that for a couple years, and it's like my stress relief. It's something that I turn to when I feel like I need to clear my mind or maybe just focus on something else instead of maybe something I'm stressed about. I recently started playing Soda Saga as well. I had tried it once before and I didn't really care too much for it, but I've been playing it more recently. It's really challenging. In that sense, I kind of like Candy Crush a little bit better, the regular version, because I'm a lot farther along, and I find I can't even talk, the Cola Crush, the Soda Crush, right? It's just so much more like, the levels are harder to beat, and I'm wasting way too much time on it. As far as board games go, I really love Taboo. I think that's a great game for a group of people. I love the timed intensity of it and how everyone gets to put their personality into the clues that they're giving their teammates to guess the answer, and I love how competitive it is, and I've seen people almost throw blows over Taboo, so that's my favorite game. My favorite food, it's between two things. One is fresh pineapple. I can't get enough of that, except for when it burns the roof of my mouth and my tongue and I can't eat it for a few days, so then I have to stop. And then also my mom's green chili chicken enchiladas. So this is a dish that's very popular in New Mexico. They make it with hatch green chilies, and they have a different flavor than the Anaheim green chilies that are here in Southern California. And it has a right amount of heat. It's kind of like casserole style, so it's cheesy and creamy, but then it's spicy from the chili, and then you have the corn tortillas for the substance, and then of course the chicken, and we also put cream of mushroom soup in there, so you get little chunky mushrooms, and just so good. I love it. So as far as singers go, my favorite singer is probably Mariah Carey. She's had a ton of hits over the years, and she's somebody who's remained pretty popular and relevant over the years. I really wish that she would step up her game now though and bring something like what she used to have in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s. And then my favorite rapper is Tupac, and always has been, always will be. I really love how true his lyrics are as far as telling stories about maybe his life or the life of people he's seen struggle or his friends or whatever. My astrological sign is an Aries, and I think that for the most part I'm pretty true to the Aries description. They're supposed to be confident, competitive, very assertive, independent, big-hearted, just very true to themselves. They stand up for what they believe in. Their ruling planet is Mars, the god of war, so I am kind of known to get into battles with people that are going against what I believe in. As far as my accomplishments go, the great majority of them have been academic related. So from a very young age, I received a lot of honors and awards for academic achievement, honor roll, high GPA. When I was in 5th grade, I tested into the gifted program for having a high IQ, which was really surprising because I didn't feel like I was a step above the average education level of the other people in my class. But it actually made it hard for me in school because I was placed in classes with nerdy type people, and then I was wanting to be with my friends who were in the cool crowd. And then so like, even I remember my 7th grade year in middle school was just so awkward because I didn't know where I belonged. Like I didn't feel like I was cool enough for the cool kids, and I didn't feel like I was nerdy enough for the nerdy kids, and I like had nowhere to sit at lunch. It was horrible. But then in 8th grade, I figured it out, and then through high school, I was able to really balance, you know, my desire to have fun and be cool with my, you know, academic studies. And I was able to focus enough, even though I did do a lot of ditching my sophomore year. Don't do that because I shot myself in the foot and I don't know calculus now because of it. But anyway, I was still able to graduate with a high enough GPA, which was, I don't know, like a 4.1 or something, to be the high school valedictorian of my graduating class. So I felt like that was a really huge honor. And I don't know, I mean, it was just really surreal, and it got me into USC. And they were also impressed by my ACT scores. So overall, those are my main accomplishments. And then I've also won some awards and stuff, bikini contests, and I won a pageant once where I won, like, I don't want to say the exact amount, but several $1,000s for being Miss Photogenic in a pageant. So pretty much those are the achievements that come to mind. So who am I? I'm a very laid back, cool, big-hearted person. I love to just hang out with friends. I love to go to barbecues and birthday parties. I love to go to the beach. I love to go to amusement parks. I love to go hiking, stuff like that. I'm very laid back. I'm definitely not the girl who needs to be out at the club every weekend or anything like that. Nothing against that kind of stuff. That's just not me. So I would consider myself to be a homebody. Again, very chill, very laid back. I'm one of those girls that you could probably consider to be like one of the guys. Like I make friends with guys very easily just because of my personality. And then any girl that's like that, we're, you know, two peas in a pod. Another thing about me is I am very funny and witty in the right circumstances. Like I'm that person where something funny or awkward will happen to a group of people, and then I'll just have like that perfect wisecrack for the situation. I don't know where I get it from, but I think it kind of runs in the family. So I love making people laugh, but there's no way that I could ever have a career as a comedian because I'm just like, you know, not that great with the ad-libs and stuff. However, my boyfriend is hilarious, and he's constantly making people laugh, and I love to laugh, and it's actually really hard to make me laugh. So if you're that funny and you see me chuckling, then you're really, really funny. I just want to tell you girls a little bit about the experiences that I've had in my career. How I got my start was really on a website called CPixel. Somehow the site moderator, like the creator of the site, found favor in me, and you know, he was like a cool guy or whatever, and it was kind of like one of those rating sites. And then so one day, it was my birthday, and he decided to put up my profile on the main front page of the website. And so like I got a ton of friends or likes or whatever you want to call them for that site, and my popularity increased like overnight. And so that got me in touch with a lot of people who were interested in my look. And then so I had like photographers contacting me, asking to work with me, asking me to come to car shows to take pictures with the cars and stuff. And so in the Latin community, which, you know, I'm Hispanic, Mexican, lowriders are very popular. So I was starting out in the lowrider shows, and so I was then able to get a feature in Lowrider magazine. Shortly after that, that became a cover, which was my dream come true. When I started modeling, that was the only goal that I had, was to be on the cover of that magazine, and I achieved that years ago. Also, I started doing ads for clothing companies. I started working with clothing companies. I had this ad campaign going on in Australia for Dickies. I had posters. I had a billboard there. I was in their catalog. And then just little by little, I was working with photographers I wanted to work with, building up my portfolio. I landed in a book called LA Woman for Esteban Oriol. He's like a really infamous guy in the kind of like black and white photography scene. He's very like urban and street edgy. I love his work. Also, I started doing trade shows. I started doing all kinds of consumer events, a lot of promo modeling. I've done stuff with Budweiser. I started working on TV shows as like featured background. I did Entourage. I got to do a scene with Eminem, which was like a dream come true. It's funny because his music's playing in the background right now, so it's really cool to be talking about this. I had an ex-boyfriend when I was a teenager who was the biggest Eminem fan ever, and I tried so hard to like sneak in a chance where I could get an autograph from him there on set. But obviously we had to be professional, and we had strict instructions from our agent, like no photos with your cell phone, or, you know, don't harass the talent or whatever. But I did get to chat with him quite a bit, me and my friend. And unfortunately, the scene that I have interacting with him, I was like bragging about it to everybody, like telling everyone and their mom about it, like, oh yeah, I have a scene on Entourage with Eminem. And then when it aired, it was the season finale for season 7, they cut out my scene with him. I was so bummed and so hurt about it. So I would say that's kind of like a horror story for me, because, you know, you kind of get your hopes built up, and you get your, you know, your chest all high, like you're all, you know, just hot-ish or whatever, and then stuff like that happens, and you're just like, oh man, it like bursts your bubble and brings you back down to earth. But still was a great experience. I've got to meet a lot of people in this industry. I used to work with Jessica Alba's dad. He's a broker for real estate. I was his personal assistant, so I got to meet her. I even like got to go to her house and everything. She's gorgeous. I also got to meet Stevie Wonder, Randy Jackson, Debo from Friday, Jeremiah, Brian McKnight, Carrie Hilson, Fabulous, because I did a music video with them. That video has millions of views right now on YouTube, and I'm like the little avatar for that. So if you look it up, I think it's called Everyday, Everything, Everywhere. And also, I got to meet John B. I did a music video with John B., who worked directly with Tupac for a song called Are You Still Down? So that was a dream come true, because like when you walked into his house, he has a picture right there signed by Tupac, and I just felt like I got to meet him, you know? It was like the spirit of Tupac. Let's see, who else have I met? I've met a bandmate from the Scorpions. My mom was really excited about that because she's a huge fan of the Scorpions. Gosh, I've got to work with some, like, I met a guy from Jurassic Park, the first one. I did a scene with him on CSI New York. So many people, way too many to remember and name just off the top of my head. Also, let's see, I've got to travel all around the country. I've got to travel to Canada. I've got to go to Hawaii. So that was with like an MMA company called King of the Cage, also with Monster Energy. I'm a Monster girl. That's a ton of fun. They throw all kinds of lavish events. I'm in poster books for them that we go around signing everywhere. It's really cool. It's like being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Also, I have these cardboard standees that are life-size of me that are all over, mostly Mexico, but I've also seen them here in the States. I have a couple at home. I've also had standees for a casino here in the Southern California area. They also had a large billboard campaign of me going, and that's actually one of the reasons I got my job here at AMIClubwear, because I had come in to test and they didn't hire me at first, and then I guess like several months had passed, and the owner of the company was driving on the 605 and saw my face on a billboard, and then I got contacted, and I've been here for 4 years. I cannot believe it, how fast time flies, but it's been such a blessing, such an incredible experience, and a ton of fun. I was also on a huge 3-story banner on a parking garage, calendar covers, countless magazines, and I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just trying to show you girls what a girl that just comes from really nothing, what you can do if you just have like the dream and the ambition to make it happen. I remember I worked with an agency who kind of did some lower budget stuff for Monster Energy, and they were going to have me sign a contract that said I couldn't work with Monster through another agency, and so his stuff wasn't like the official Monster Girl stuff. And I specifically wrote in my own clause on that contract and said, I will not work any Monster jobs with you because I want to be a Monster Girl. Less than a year later, I made that happen. So I don't know if it's like the secret, you know, that Oprah touts or whatever, or if it's just believing in yourself or just wishing or praying hard enough. But you can really reach your goals and your dreams. It just takes dedication, like I said, and positive thoughts and the support of your family and friends. Except there were so many times that I cried to my mom or to my boyfriend or to my friends about so many things that happen in this industry that have been really unfair. And so you really have to have thick skin. So again, family support is important. If you don't feel like you have support through family, seek counseling online or whatever. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but you really need somebody that's going to help build you and lift you up in those hard times, because the rewards in this industry are totally worth it. So a piece of advice that I have for you girls, besides what I've already mentioned, is to try to remain humble and don't count your chickens before they hatch. For instance, there was a time when I was flown out to Hawaii to enter a bikini contest and work a car show, where the people from the organization had built me up and they were like, you're definitely going to win first place this time, because it was a series of 3 bikini contests. 2 of them had been here in California, and I placed second both of those. So they were really building me up. I was like sure I was going to win first place, and then I won 3rd place, and I was so upset. I totally wear my heart on my sleeve, which is one of my downfalls. And it was very obvious that I was, you know, being a sore loser. Not that I was talking crap about the winner or anything like that, but she did take offense to me being a sore loser. And basically she felt like that I didn't feel she deserved to win. And what ended up happening is that it kind of created like a rift in the small niche of girls that are in that industry, to where I became kind of like a villain to them, all because one girl had her feelings hurt by my actions, which was really just my feelings about losing. So my advice is to remain humble, like I said. Definitely keep your eye on the prize, but don't ever just think you've won before you have. And when you don't win, that's fine. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. This industry, like I said, is full of ups and downs, but definitely don't let it break you down if you happen to lose something that you really want. And trust me, there are so many opportunities out there. If it's not going to be that one that you win, someone else is going to see your value and see your shine and treat you like the queen that you are, or king. All right, girls, thank you so much for watching this video about me. I hope that you found it interesting, maybe got some inspiration or some tips or some tidbits about me you didn't know before. Thank you again for all your support throughout the years of my career here at AMIClubwear. It's been such a blessing, and let me tell you, modeling in general is such a learning experience, and I'm definitely not perfect and I still have a lot to learn, but that's the beauty about being in this industry, is it helps you develop as a person, it helps you learn a business sense, it helps you learn assertiveness, and just so many other great things. If you want to see any other types of videos that you want me to do specifically, like maybe you like my hair, you like my makeup, or whatever, you like my fashion sense, I don't know, go ahead and leave that in the box below. Please thumbs up the video if you liked it, please, and also subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more videos about our models here at AMIClubwear, because we love getting to know you guys. And also, don't forget to find all the hottest summer deals on our website at AMIClubwear. Like us, AMIClubwear.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AMIClubwear. And you can also follow me, add me, or whatever on Facebook. My Facebook is facebook.com/Alexia Cortez LA. That's also my Twitter handle, and my Instagram is just at Alexia Cortez. Thank you again. Love you girls and guys.